Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dean Coder. I'm with the Kamloops Thompson School District, and I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you for your invitation. Today I'm going to speak about innovation in education. And when I'm going to look at this, I'm going to kind of go back in my mind to 25 years ago. Because it was 25 years ago that the internet came online in a big way. And I think about that and I think, okay, what did classrooms look like 25 years ago? We had rooms, students in desks in rows. Matter of fact, 50 years before that, we had classrooms with students in rows. Teacher at the front of the classroom delivering knowledge or filling up the students with knowledge and content. So the internet came along 25 years ago. What do classrooms look like today? Certainly in our school district, we still have many of the same structures with classrooms and students in rows. 25 years ago, when we wanted to phone somebody, I had to go over to the kitchen, pick up my hardwired phone, and dial the number. If I was out and I needed to phone home, I had to go find a payphone where I'd put a quarter in or 10 cents in to make my local call. So things have changed a little bit. When I think about work 25 years ago, I got up in the morning at 8 o'clock, or I got up in the morning at 7 o'clock, went to work for 8, and then I worked till 4 or 5. I locked the door and I went home. And that was pretty much the work day that I had back then. And this was a time when I was working for a telecommunications industry. So I'm looking at saying, this is the way things were, and I'm still kind of puzzled because I think this is the way things are in many parts of the world. When I look back to the mobile technologies where they were 20 years ago, we had these really heavy, large cellular phones. They didn't really fit in my pocket very well. So many things have changed. When I think back to 25 years ago when I was working in the telecommunications industry, everything occurred on the job site. When I went home, the job was over. So today, what does that look like? That job that I was doing 25 years ago, we all would go to a very large building with our own personal vehicles. All our equipment vehicles were parked there at the job. We would meet at the coffee shop inside the building that belonged to the company. Today, that building doesn't exist. All the people I used to work with, they take their company truck home. When they get up in the morning, they open their laptop and access their company portal. And in that company portal is pretty much what their job is going to be for the day. Then they go out and they get in their van, their company van, and they go to work. All day long, they're reporting what they're doing with online through the company portal. At the end of the day, they drive their van home. So they're there. Their work is now at their home. Today, instead of being the brick, which is what that phone was called, students now have mobile devices that fit in your back pocket. Today, when I get up in the morning and go to work, I get up and put on a cup of coffee and I look at my cell phone to check my emails that have come in overnight. I then start my day, and throughout the day, I work, whether it's at Starbucks, because I have my work here, or I go to my office, have my work here, or at the end of the day, even when I go home, I check to make sure that I'm on top of my work. It follows me everywhere I go. Today, things are upside down. My new office is in my back pocket. So, one of the things we're looking at is, how are students being prepared for this new work world that I'm in? If we look back several hundred years ago, during the industrial age, mankind's knowledge was doubling about every 100 years. So time passed, knowledge slowly increased. And around World War II, the pace of the doubling of knowledge became much shorter, around 25 years. So it tended to start to double and grow. So after that, what we are experiencing today is the knowledge of mankind doubling every 13 months. IBM claims that the knowledge available on the internet will soon be doubling at the tremendous rate of every 12 hours. So it won't be long. Content is going to just continue to explode. So let's think back again. Draw your minds back to that time, 20, 25 years ago. We had floppy disks. Many of you here might be too young to remember, but I remember these big floppy disks. And we had these 28.8K modems that we thought, wow, this was fabulous. We could connect to the internet. Matter of fact, banks did their banking with 28. I remember putting them in the telecommunications industry, being very excited. 28.8K, that was pretty good. The people that developed those, right? Who would know that this was going to be the very beginnings of the explosion where the next generation of billionaires would come from? They're not coming so much from family. They're not coming so much from heavy industry or mining and the resource industry. Today, when we look at the biggest explosion in billionaires, what do we see? We see Anne Wang, meet Pony Ma. Jobs in the future. You know, in the next 15 or 20 years, the next generation of jobs is going to appear. These are jobs that don't exist today, and as a matter of fact, we haven't even thought of yet. These are the jobs that our grandchildren are going to be moving into. And I say grandchildren because I just became a grandfather. I'm really excited about that. But I'm also really concerned. These are the jobs I can't even think and imagine. So these jobs will also change in their working career. So they'll enter a job or an occupation, and unlike when my dad entered his, and he entered it for 30 years, and that was his career, he did this one job, my granddaughter will enter the workforce and enter a job I can't even think about, and in her working career, that job will then change dramatically to a new job that I can't even think about. So there's going to be some dramatic changes coming. Pony Ma said, the industry is on the rise, the tech industry, and its beauty lies in its uncertainty. But we, the new young entrepreneurs, are passionate